Heated Rivalry shifted gears in Episode 3 with the debut of Scott and Kip, and its new couple is vital for a future storyline. Based on the hockey romance book of the same name by Rachel Reed, Heated Rivalry mainly focuses on the complex relationship between Canadian sweetheart Shane Hollander, Hudson Williams, and Russian phenom Ilya Rozanov, Connor Story, two professional hockey players in the fictional MLH. Originally created by Canadian television network Crave, Heated Rivalry found mainstream popularity after being distributed by HBO Max for streaming across the United States. From book-talk romance to high-octane hockey to LGBTQ+ representation, Heated Rivalry has something for everyone. Yet, just as the drama earned critical acclaim and a devoted following, Heated Rivalry Episode 3 barely included Shane or Ilya. Scott and Kip are the main characters of Game Changer. Rather than pick up on the heartbreaking note of Episode 2's ending, wherein Shane nearly texts Ilya lamenting how they didn't even kiss during their last sexual encounter, Heated Rivalry opens its third installment by recontextualizing an old scene. During the 2014 Olympics, Carter, Colton Stewart, mentions the bravery of gay athletes who attend the games in Russia despite the danger. Though the conversation initially acts as the catalyst for Shane to check in on Ilya, Heated Rivalry's divisive Episode 3 instead shifts the narrative to Scott Hunter, Francois Arnaud. Previously, Scott's character was confined to the show's margins. In Episode 3, however, Scott is the main character as he falls for smoothie barista Christopher, Kip, Grady, Robbie GK. Scott meets Kip by chance when he stops by Straw Plus Berry for a smoothie, and the two engage in light flirting. Scott makes a habit out of buying smoothies solely from Kip until the two cross paths at a gala. After they hook up, the couple enter a secret relationship until Kip decides the pressure of hiding is too much. While the sudden shift may have given some viewers whiplash, book fans anticipated this narrative vignette, as Scott and Kip's romance launched the Game Changers franchise. In fact, Scott and Kip are the only pairing to predate Shane and Ilya in the book sequence. Nevertheless, Heated Rivalry's queer love story isn't a perfect adaptation of the source material. How Heated Rivalry changed Scott and Kip's storyline. Unsurprisingly, Scott and Kip's episode was a fairly faithful page-to-screen adaptation of Game Changer. As seen in Episode 3, Kip is a history buff with unrealized dreams of pursuing higher education. The Brooklyn native also has a tight-knit inner circle, including co-worker Maria, Bianca Nugara, best friend Elena, Nadine Baba, and the staff of Kingfisher, a local gay bar. Nonetheless, there are a few major changes Heated Rivalry made from the books. The most significant tweak was to the overall chronology. Game Changer was an incredibly fast-paced story, taking place completely during the 2017 MLH season. From their meet-cute to their happily ever after, the entirety of Scott and Kip's love story initially spans a mere 6 months. Conversely, Scott and Kip meet far earlier in the television series, first crossing paths during the 2014 hockey season. Shane and Ilya still have them beat by a few years, but expanding Scott and Kip's fast-burning romance by adding in new conflicts and ostensibly separating the pair for years will make their inevitable return and reconciliation all the more meaningful. Beyond its spot in the comprehensive timeline, Heated Rivalry made a few pivotal alterations to the original story. Rather than lose his single mother as a teenager, Scott's tragic backstory now includes both parents dying due to a drunk driver. Additionally, both Scott and Kip have been aged up to further distinguish the older couple from Shane and Ilya. Why Heated Rivalry's bottle episode was necessary. Movierstills DB. Shane and Ilya's spicy romance in Heated Rivalry may have drawn in viewers, but the series is far greater than their sexual escapades. In the book, Scott and Kip directly affect Shane and Ilya's relationship at the end of the 2017 playoffs, meaning Heated Rivalry needed to set up its secondary romance to avoid weakening the upcoming scene's impact. Heated Rivalry could have kept the original timeline and tried to tell Scott and Kip's story parallel to Shane and Ilya's, but that would have done a disservice to both couples. By keeping the bulk of Scott and Kip's subplot contained within Episode 3, Heated Rivalry can return to its main romance without Scott and Kip's later scenes seeming abrupt. Furthermore, shows like Heated Rivalry rarely have the bandwidth to include multiple queer couples with such rich storylines. Shane and Ilya may be more compelling, but their plot doesn't exist inside a vacuum, and they are far from the only LGBTQ+ players in the league. Consequently, exploring Scott's convoluted relationship with his own sexuality only enhances the overarching plot. As an added bonus, Heated Rivalry Episode 3 has served to whet fans' appetites regarding Shane and Ilya. The main characters are rarely seen in the episode, making most viewers even more excited about their return in the next episode. Scott and Kip's story was a necessary building block, but Shane and Ilya are irrefutably the heart of Heated Rivalry.